right? This is some of the first steps. They've actually started it a while ago on a very limited basis for the Uber rich, and I don't think this is any different. I think it might be a little bit less than the tens of millions of dollars that this cost in the past for
but
people.
It's still going to be multiple thousands.
Yeah, it's still going to be only rich people doing this.
Yeah.
The 1%ers. I'm pretty sure for quite a while still it'll be only that. But they're going to be giving people trips to the International Space Station, which is like 220 miles above the Earth, where there's basically the International Space Station is a laboratory in space that orbits the Earth. And the astronauts / scientists are up there, from many countries doing their thing. And you can go up there and you can stay a minimum of 8 days, they're saying, before you come back to Earth.
I would do this if I could afford this.
If I had that kind of money, why not? Well, you know what? I have to take that back. Even if I had the money, I'm gonna be Didi right now. I'm gonna wait like 5 years.
Okay. All right.
If I had the money and we 5 years in, then I would. It's a little too soon for me. That's a hell of a undertaking. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but they've already been there several times, and we also know the space station. There have been people that have lived there over a year and stuff like that. So the space station itself is going to definitely be someplace that's safe in space.
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the space station as I am the ride up and back and forth. That little space Uber ride. Okay. Space Uber. I'm worried about that. And we don't have as much experience doing that as the Russians, because before now the Russians were the one giving us rides up there because they're basically, I guess, further along than we are.
But I'm thinking though, it's not like you are putting your hands in Raul, the Uber driver, the actual Uber driver's hands. These are people that actually do know what they're doing with technology and that big old rocket.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Mean, I've gotten in the car here in LA with some people. They're like, you should use a turn signal.
No, I get it, but it's just one of those things where I would feel a lot more comfortable.
But I would be down with this idea. I would like the idea that you could look down and see Earth, or you may look around and see other planets.
Yeah, and they're talking about, in addition to this, giving people rides like around the moon and back, and just also some other companies not going quite as far into space, actually not in the outer space, more inner space, like 60 miles above the Earth, and just letting you experience weightlessness and seeing the Earth from 60 miles up, which is still, quite
that's cool too.
Quite a distance or whatever. So, Elon Musk has some companies that are involved with this kind of thing, and
I would do that.
So they're really trying to commercialize space and to get it, like to the point where we're out there actually traveling and going further and this and that. And wow,
when we were kids, and it's because what had happened in the 60s in the 50s going into this and the 60s, but mostly the 60s with the space race and space exploration. Hold
on, Pip. We're old, but we are not that old. We were not kids in the 50s and 60s.
No, well, hold on. I said it's because of what happened in the 50s and 60s when we were kids. There was still this notion that space was the place to go and the place to be. And what happened during that a lot of time as they were exploring all that is they came up with all these other great inventions that we now are commonplace, like Teflon and microwaves and things like that. That came out of the space race. And like when I said when we were kids, the idea of being an astronaut was like something like to aspire to.
Right.
No kid wants to be an astronaut anymore because they don't even really see astronauts. You know what I mean? And there's not a talk about like how important space travel or exploration is. I mean, every now and then you might hear something about Mars, and they're still trying to get people to Mars. Black people are not going to Mars. We're not getting on another boat. Exactly. We're not getting on another ship that white people put us on.
Right.
So, but it's, I'm all for this. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm for it too. I think part of the reason too that you don't hear about it's incredibly difficult to become an astronaut. Even a pilot, it's not easy.
No, but it also was something that it's not easy to become president. It's also not easy to become, a lot of things. And so, but it's something you can aspire to be.
Sure.
But they also had, it was so much in the culture as well, in the pop culture, lots of movies about UFOs and things like that. And then we had like I Dream of Jeannie and things like that, where you would see astronauts. You don't even see it as characters on TV anymore, or Movies is not necessarily that kind of stuff. I referenced E.T. last night, and somebody like, oh, that's a retro. Well, yeah, it's from the 80s.
Right. Well, Snooki, how do we get listeners if we don't we don't fuck with you? Well, it's not that we don't fuck with you, but it's just not that kind of show. And we already came to this platform. We've been doing this for 6 years, so we have a substantial following, and we're also syndicated in Atlanta and other places on radio. So we're not here to just try to curate, listeners per se. It's just another form to reach out to people and entertain. That's what it's about for us, really. So anyway, it's amazing. It's kind of amazing that we've come this far in space, and just to think that we could go to actual other places. I just hope we've learned our lesson, and the next place we go and possibly inhabit, we take care of it better than we did Earth. Because that's the last thing we need, is to go out into the galaxy and just start fucking up other planets.
We will eventually.
Yeah.
I'm even here on Earth at some point in time, we were doing our due diligence, and as we got more and more, we just,
Yeah.
And there's too many of us.
There are too many of us. Tito's was forced to repeatedly tell customers they can't use vodka as hand sanitizer.
Not repeatedly.
So now we're back to the coronavirus situation. So as we mentioned earlier when we were talking about the coronavirus, how supplies are in high demand. One of the biggest things other than masks is hand sanitizer. It's hard. You can't find it. People have stockpiled it. People are hoarding it. And there are people who are gouging the prices on Amazon, selling, a $10 bottle for over $100 and things like that. So some people have gotten it in their head that they could just use Tito's vodka to sanitize their hands, and that's a waste of good vodka.
Wait, but that doesn't have to be repeatedly told.
Well, first of all, Tito's is like, our vodka is only 40% alcohol by volume, and the CDC says that in order to kill a virus, alcohol has to be at least 60%.
At least.
My question is, why would your next backup be Tito's alcohol versus rubbing alcohol, isopropyl?
Yeah.
Which is like cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't drink it, so it's not a waste. It's actually, and most hand sanitizer is 99% rubbing alcohol anyway.
Right.
So you could actually make your own. Mm-hmm. And the scientists and doctors from the CDC are saying you can make your own, and it can be just as effective. Basically, all you need is some little aloe vera gel and some rubbing alcohol. Mm-hmm. And there you go. You got hand sanitizer.
Yeah, actually, our musical director for The Love of a Glove, when we were in rehearsal, gave us all little spritzer bottles that had alcohol in it.
Okay.
Just spritz this on your hands. Everybody gets sick.
Rubbing alcohol. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That to me it's amazing that you would jump to okay, I'm going to use this Ciroc to...
These are the same bitches that's hoarding stuff at the Costco.
See, I'm telling you. This right. And... Okay, first, I kind of want to give a shout out and a thumbs down to Tito's alcohol all in one. Because, first of all, I give them props because it'd be very easy for them to just sit back and reap the profits of people going out and buying up a bunch of Tito's alcohol to use as hand sanitizer.
Right.
And they just reap the profits of that. Right. But they're trying to educate people and say, no, don't do that. It's not sanitary. It doesn't work. You're wasting good vodka. Don't do that. So I give them props for that. But on the other hand, we'll go all the way back to natural selection again, and we're interfering with the gene pool, and we're saving people that need to die off.
Right.
So it's like, for that, they get a thumbs down. But for being, having a conscience and looking out after the community or whatever, they get a thumbs up. So.
Or are they just trying to get some free publicity jumping on the coronavirus bandwagon?
I don't know. Maybe they figure people not gonna listen. They're gonna we'll just get use this this wave or whatever. I don't know.
All right. Okay.
Who knows what they're thinking?
Swim. In Chicago, there was someone who's doing a musical that wanted some publicity, and everyone in the cast hung out a lot, and they would go out to this bar and hang out, and then swim. This one actor put a phony, what do you call it, gossip piece in, a phony tip to a gossip column for a gay magazine, saying, because this was a gay show, saying that 2 of the cast members were seen making out at this bar and there might be something between them. And the gossip columnist printed it. And then the actor called the gossip columnist and said, hey, you printed this. That's not true. Come see our show and talk to me afterwards. Not me, but the person.
Right.
and then he did. So he came to the show, and then he wrote about the show again. And this show got 3 or 4 weeks worth of free publicity from that one lie.
Wow. There you go. So I don't know, but okay. This next story, Pip, it's funny you put that in there this morning.
Breaking news.
My wife actually sent me this story a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of just glossed over it. I didn't get to read, but I glossed over it enough. I was like, oh, this would be great for the show. I thought I put it in our feed, but I didn't, and you did. So
because I saw it on the news, I was like, oh my God, this is something we have to talk about.
So a malfunction causes red wine to flow from faucets in an Italian town.
Hallelujah.
So what happened?
This is why Italians love Jesus. This is such a Jesus moment. So it's actually this winery that's in this town in
we just
Italy.
talked about Jesus and wine too earlier in the show.
This winery had some problems with their pipes, and the pressure of it forced their red wine, which they were about to bottle, into the town supply. And for 3 hours, red wine was coming out of people's faucet in this town. 3 hours. So people just started bottling it.
I would too. And I don't even like wine. I would too. Who wouldn't? Oh my goodness. Wow. That's amazing.
Oh,
that's amazing. Talk about a Christmas miracle.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Oh man.
I would love this.
Who wouldn't? That's amazing.
Would love this. I would bathe in it too.
This reminds me of when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I literally used to wish anything came out of the faucet other than water.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't care if it was milk,
chocolate,
Kool-Aid, soda, any flavor of soda, anything other than water. I used to wish that it could be iced tea, lemonade. I did not care. I just hated water, and anything other than water came out of the faucet would have been great for me. As a kid, I used to literally remember wishing, like, oh, what if water tasted like root beer?
By the way, listeners, Google the story, because hearing about it is one thing, but to see the visuals of, so find a video where they show red wine coming out of people's sink.
Yeah. Tap. Just on tap. Red wine on tap.
It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I was like, I just couldn't imagine. I mean, I've lived in some skank apartments where I can turn it on and something gross comes out.
Yeah.
But I've never lived in a place where like joy just flowed out of my faucet.
Could you imagine? I just come over your house and be like, Pip, give me some of the house tap.
Red or white? Instead of hot or cold, red or white?
That'd be, ooh, man. Oh, my goodness. That'd be on and cracking. Oh.
That's the only thing that would make the story better if it had been white wine.
Right? Yeah, I'm not a wine person, but I'd be taking that. I'd be making some sangria.
Right.
You know?
Right. They said people were bottling it. People were calling the winery and thanking them.
I bet. I wouldn't have called nothing, because then that was like, they might not know. And if I call and thank them, then they going to know and stop it.
Oh, they knew. They knew.
Yeah, but that's how I'm saying my mind works. Like, I ain't going to say nothing.
But I think they're also, because they're Italians and they're from a small village, you know, and then there's like, you know, they probably know, you know, Peppino, who
right,
who has been in their family for years,
right,
and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh yeah, thank you. It's a blessing. God's going to smile on your family. I'm going to tell everybody, drink your Lambrusco.
I can't imagine that. That's pretty awesome. So I'd be like,
I was watching the news and I saw it. I mean, I rose from my pillow Looked up. I was like, ah, it's so wonderful.
Her angels singing.
This